And welcome everyone. If you're watching this as a recording, it's a living recording. So you're in the field 2, and if you watch it again, you're in the field 2. It's going to get deeper. So thank you for being part of this webinar. You're the brave ones who've jumped in. I know there's so many people out there who could benefit from this, but it's a strong one with a lot of strong resistance and not to enter this field. So well done, well done. And yesterday we worked really deeply as well. I know there was a lot of information, but there was a lot of deep work yesterday. So that was working in the system. I could feel very strongly. And I wanted to talk more now before I go into the energetic work, just on different keys for supporting somebody or supporting yourself if you're supporting anyone who is a twin survivor. So as I said in the first yesterday, what I said yesterday was that the first thing I'll do is firstly make sure I'm in my own system before starting the session and holding space, okay, and honoring my own twins, and my system is closed, and also my twin system's closed. And then make a direct connection with the person holding space. And when you hold space, what happens is a field of information will open up, and then you'll get a sense, because you're aware of twins, you're getting a sense, oh, there may be a twin in the system. So you're opening possibilities. Now, at this point, most people who book sessions will not book them because they feel there's a twin in the system. They will book a session because of a health condition, or they have something they want to work on, or a financial block, or whatever it may be. So on a soul level, they know why they're booking the session. And at the same time, the mind may not, okay? And there may be resistance. So what I find it's good to, and I want you to do some homework. I'm going to give you some homework now before we get into the energetic work, okay? So you can watch this again for the homework or write it down, whatever's comfortable for you. So what I would ask somebody, if they do find a brother in the system, is I would ask them to first find the name for the brother and sister, and then ask the sister, for example, if you have a sister, a younger or older sister, ask her many questions. So I would always focus on the twin first before the person to ask, because you will get the answers straight away. It's first answer response. So I would ask many questions. Okay, where were you in my life, for example? What friends do you like? What friends do you not like? What hobbies do you have? What's your talents? Do you like my career? Do you like my relationship? Do you like my friends? And imagine there's a menu in front of you, a blank menu, and ask your twin, okay, what would you pick for a starter, a main course, a dessert? What food do you like on that menu? And you'll find that your twin will respond very fast in very detailed form. And you'll start realizing, wow, that wasn't even me in my life. Or maybe that was, if you're dating or you've been dating in the past, okay, who was in the relationship? Who was really in love with the ex? Was it you? Was it your twin? Who was in that relationship more dominant? Or maybe was there twins in that relationship? Because you usually attract someone else with a twin as well. So then there would be 4 in the relationship or more. So lots of questions is really good. If you could write it down, almost do it homework for yourself. There's a tendency to rush this, but I would really recommend you to get a diary and write down the name of your twin and write down all the different aspects about, as I say, about the food, about talents, about things your twin doesn't like, about behavior patterns of your twin, about the personality of the twin, because it's a different spirit. Your twin is a completely different character than you. And you will start finding out, the more you find out about the twin, the more you find out about yourself. It really becomes transparent. I call them the aha moments. The aha moments is when the soul really gets it. It's like, aha, that's what was going on in my life. That's what, on a soul transmission, it really locks in. It's a truth that's so deep on a soul level that you just don't even question it. Now I know why I had an eating disorder, or now I know why I wasn't digesting my food. Now I know why I wasn't open for a relationship, or maybe I was jumping into different relationships and then I'm jumping out. So all these things will start making sense to you. I want you to do this yourself, because it's stronger if you find those keys yourself. It's much stronger if you find it. I can share lots of different things with you, but I want you to find it yourself. It's much more of a transmission on a vibratory field to do it yourself. So as I say, ask your twin, where has your twin been in your life? And then what's the characteristics of your twin, the personality of your twin? What is your twin like? Who does your twin like? What does your mom think? What's your twin think of your mom, your dad, your other siblings? What's your twin think of you? What does your twin think of your partner, your friends, your job, your career? All these things are very important to ask the twin. It will really get clear for you. Then I want to, and if you have two, if there's another twin, it's very interesting. You'll call up one. So if you feel that you have, it's a good question. If you feel you've an older twin, you'll say, it's amazing, one twin will be more dominant. So focus only on one twin at a time. Say, okay, I'm going to spend the next 2 days talking to you, and then say to the twin, I honor you both so much that I want to do this really detailed. I don't want to rush it. So I want to spend a day with my older brother or a day with my younger sister. And I'm going to take notes because I want to listen to you, because I know I wasn't listening for years and you were frustrated with that. So it's really like another spirit. And I'm going to make time for you. So I want to spend the day with you to know, let's go on a walk together. Tell me about you. Where are you in my life? What do you love? What do you hate? Where were you in my life? And as I say, spend time only with one twin, and then you will feel that twin feels resolved, and you'll feel the space getting calm, and then the next twin will pop up in the system, or maybe the third one. So do it really respectfully, not rushed, slowly, detailed as possible. And this will really bring, the reason I really invite you to do this is because it'll just become so clear who are you and what was in your system. The souls are very much active in your system normally. And I've worked with people and called up the twin, and the twin speaks directly through the person. When you see someone with a twin, I don't know if you've seen this yourself, you probably have. It's almost like a shadow comes over the person and you feel like, whoa, what was that? What's that going on in that person? Something heavy came over the person, something dark came over the person, or something nasty came into the system. So that's where the twin takes over the system. Now, the twin, I want to say this in the right way. So I want you to put yourself in the shoes of your twin. How would you feel if no one recognized you up to now? How would you feel? How would you feel if you were never asked into intimacy with somebody else? How would you feel? This is how the twin feels. So, no disrespect to our twins. I have full empathy for the twins. So, the level of consciousness of the twin will be completely different than you as the surviving twin. The reason is your twin feels betrayed and feels like a victim. Rightly so, because the twin was dragged into a relationship. It's almost like in intimacy, it's almost like a rape energy. It's like that you're going that strong into intimacy and your twin's being dragged into it. So the system shuts. So a lot of intimacy topics, for example, is created from the twins. a lot of confusion around sexuality, a lot of closing up around intimacy, a lot of trauma coming up, and that trauma can be confused with an abuse in your childhood. So there may be abuse that you worked through and you just feel you can't resolve that abuse. A lot of the time is because the main abuse energy comes from the womb, and that will not resolve until you get it to that point. A lot of people as well, they work with past lives a lot. The reason they look at past lives is because there's an issue in my system and I can't resolve it. It must be past life. It must be past life. It's not, it's this life. If there's heavy grief, for example, a lot of grief is in the womb. When you lose a twin or more, it's devastating. So to lose a twin is devastating. So it's something very, very heavy. So as a twin survivor, if you lose, for example, it could be losing a job or leaving a country, or as a partner passes, or someone passes around you, or you break up in a relationship. That's enough to open up all the twin wounds. And then the devastation starts and the grief will not be resolved. You get stuck with the grief, the grieving. So you may have a lot of grief in your life, and the main core grief, you may have lost people, but the main unresolved grief belongs in the womb. And I call this mapping. So you need to map out your life and say, oh, wow, the grief that's still in my system and the sadness actually is because of the womb. It's the twin. Oh, the shaking that's in my bones, the trauma state that's still in my bones is not an abuse. It's belonged to the trauma of losing a twin or two in the womb. That's where the shaking belongs. So I know I had it very strong in my bones. Sometimes I go into this deep trauma state, but actually it was from the womb. I thought it was from an abuse. It's from the womb. So all these parts are very important to bring up consciously in the system, to make them conscious in your own system first. Now, when you, if you're supporting others, the more you work on your system, the more you clear your system, the more you become aware, the more you'll be able to pinpoint in others where it is and support them through it. What else? Sisters and brothers. So ask about sisters and brothers, find out more about sisters and brothers. Yes. So as your siblings, if there's a twin in your system, your twin could be furious, nasty. So you may have a nasty streak, a bitter streak, a vindictive streak. This usually would be the twin, because the twin is furious, nasty, manipulating, because you're living the twin's life. You're in the twin system. So the twin is like, get out of my system, live your own life. You want to do some spiritual work, you want to do healing work, get out of my system and do it from your own place. Also, if you're doing this type of work or anything to do with your gifts, they will come back unworthy because you're using your gifts in the wrong system. So there's a very low self-confidence with your gifts. Back to the level of consciousness. You will have a very high level of consciousness, much higher level of consciousness than the twin, because the twin has experienced much more abuse than you, daily abuse. So the level of consciousness is much denser. So that may reflect in your relationship or your friendships, or you've got maybe very conscious people around you and very dense people around you. It's mirrored back to your system. So be aware that the low self-confidence around your talents, your gifts, your voice, your intuition is not because there's something wrong with you. It's because there's nothing wrong with your gifts. It's because you're using them from a twin system. So they come back unworthy. So that's where the lack of confidence may come into your system. Okay. Guilt, survivor's guilt. Survivor's guilt is very, very strong because the survivor, and also the rage for being a survivor against God as well. So these are all important just to make conscious and to bring up the consciousness, support somebody through that level of consciousness. Now, if it's someone who's for the first time experienced a vanishing twin or didn't know about it, it's good to talk to them about the symptoms. What are the symptoms? The telltale symptoms, like the guilt, out of the body, more out of the body, because, not feeling, grounded because you're in the wrong system, low self-confidence, fatigue, not digesting the food, usually digestion topics, double womb could be, for example, cysts on the womb, miscarriages, abortions. All these things are spinal problems, double vision, problems with left or right hearing, problems around the teeth, the jaw, maybe the skin even. So what I wanted to invite you to do is I want you to really spend some days reflecting on what are the symptoms. What symptoms do I have as the survivor? What are the symptoms? What are the symptoms? And you'll notice they'll start making themselves visible to you. Okay, it's really strong if you find it yourself. So if you can make a list of the symptoms of being a survivor, something came up as well. There's something, a lot of people, for example, are having fertility topics. They can't say, I want to be pregnant, I'm having fertility problems. Yes, because in the system, your system's shut down because your system will not allow you to have a child. If you have a child, you're going to have a twin or your partner in the system. But sometimes a lot of fertility topics are related because there's still a twin in the system. Because you're actually trying to have a twin in the system, or trying to have a child within the system of the twin. The twin is always the priority, and the twins will make sure of that. If you do have a child, then there's a lot of topics that can arise in the system. So I want to talk a bit about this. This is really important. So a lot of us as twin survivors would not feel a very strong bond with mom and dad. Maybe they were great moms and dads, but there's not the feeling of this love from mom and dad or support from mom and dad. Something's missing from the back. Something's not supporting me. Now that comes up if, for example, you look at your mom and dad system and find out that maybe they have twins. Now, if your mom and dad have twins, then there's no support for you in the system, in the genetics. Because if, for example, your mom is on the left-hand side behind you and your mom, for example, has a brother, that means that your mom came out of the genetic place and went to, if it's a younger brother, went to the left side. Okay? So you're missing this genetic field, vibratory field of genetic codes, which are in your DNA, and genetic support from your ancestors, because your mom just stepped out of the field. She's in the wrong place. So you will feel an absolute block with your mom, and you'll have a very strange relationship with your mom. You won't feel like her child. You'll feel, something's missing here. Mom, you're not giving me the love that I need. There's something missing. Same with dad. Now then the DNA shuts down, and then you have to do the best you can. It's almost like buckle up and be the mom and dad of yourself. So then there's a lot of betrayal, regrets, no support. You have to be hard. So it's if you're supporting somebody or you want to reflect yourself, go back and energetically look at your mom's system. And if you find your mom has a twin, ask the same thing. Is my mother's twin older or younger? Okay. older or younger? And then, as I say, if your mom's twin is older, then your mom went into the older place, so it's on the right side. So you say, okay, well, that is a boy or a girl? Okay, maybe it's a brother. So if it's a brother, that is your uncle. And your uncle is older than your mom. So then you'll say to the system, okay, Mom, I honor that I have an older uncle. And I honor you're the younger one. I honor you're the younger one. You're my mom. And then she's in the right place. Now what opens up is an energetic field of information from your DNA. The DNA now is living from the ancestors. It's now active in there's an energetic field of information in my genetics now, which now is flowing into my system on the left side. Now, if I look at my dad's system, has dad got a twin? Maybe he's got an older sister, a younger brother. And then I say, okay, Dad, I honor your older brother, who's my uncle, the older one. I honor the younger sister, who's my younger aunt. And I honor you're the middle one. Dad, you're my dad. It's almost like handing him a fiber optic cable, which represents the DNA. Then you honor him as dad, which connects you into the ancestral line. And you just simply stay in your system. And then the genetic information opens up and supports your spine and supports your DNA. Now there's nothing to do, just let it work by itself. And then if you've children, it's very important as you correct that, you say, okay, my children are my children, if you're dad or mom, and then they have connection with their dad or mom as well. So you're just giving space. As the genetics, now we're simply giving space. Now, what's happening is the genetic information is alive. The DNA is working now. And as it gets creative, it's like the light's coming into it, then your spirit can embody down into the vessel even more, your genetic place. And you take a deep breath and just give space. And the spine will start correcting itself. Breathing into the new spaces. I love this work. I love the genetic work. It's so simple and life-changing. So now the DNA is flowing. So there's a river of information flowing back and forth from the ancestors to me, going to my children and coming back to me. So all the support and all the topics my parents couldn't resolve that I resolve goes back to them, the ancestors. And then their results come back to me. So we're in this constant living river of creation, which is in the DNA. And I have the power to change the DNA because I'm the child of the ancestors. So, and energetically, I'm standing in front of my biological mom and dad. Do you get a sense of this? Now the systems are working by themselves, and we can go further with this. So mom again, so mom has her twins, okay, so mom's in her own place. So she's in a closed system with her, and then she has her twins, so I don't need to be her twins anymore. And there's a closed system that mom's in a twin system with her twins. That's her tribe. Dad's in his place with his brother and sister in his tribe. I don't need to be them. I'm in my place, my own tribe. That's another closed system. So mom and dad are in closed systems, but they are my mom and dad. And now we've really honored our aunts or uncles, our mom, aunts and uncles, our dad. Now, we can go further with this. let's honor, because usually if there's twins in the system, the ancestors, maybe your grandparents had as well. So let's honor all, and we do that by saying blueprint. Let's honor the blueprint in our genetics. That means only the truth of the genetics will come up. And I want to honor all missing twins and also miscarriages or abortion in the system that are in the blueprint place. And if you had a miscarriage or an abortion, I want to honor your child is not your twin, and your child goes to the child place, and the souls always know the timing. So just giving space, let the genetics open up. Now that all the ancestral genetics are in the right place, the ancestors, they're twins, they're children. And then their twins are in twin systems. That's their tribe. And then the family system. Honoring, very important. When working in systems, the most important is the children. So if there's miscarriage, if there's abortion, termination, it's very important to honor the children, the souls. And then, because a child incarnates into this system, into the genetic place, because they incarnate for the genetic place. They didn't incarnate to be here physically, to have the full physical experience. They came to incarnate into the genetics. When they go into the genetics, they can complete whatever soul contracts they need to complete. And also they're here like guardian angels in the system. So they will support the system. And also, for them to go into the next system, they need to be in the genetic place. So that's why the system of the twins and the souls of unborn children are crucial in the system to honor. Then they can make transition into the next system. Also, it's very important, I just got that today very strong as well, because I worked a lot with transition, supporting people with transition. And I used to find, I'm getting now why I would get calls to homes to support people with transition, is that I'd always find a mom or a daughter, for example, who wouldn't let mom go, or a son who wouldn't let mom go. And I just got why today. And I used to go to them and say, you have to let your mom go. But the reason is that they won't let them go is because they have them in the twin place. It's devastating. There's a bond between them, which is like no one else. So they hold the mom, they hold the dad because they're in the twin place. So it's devastating. They can't let them go. So it's very important if you're working with someone to help family systems to become with transition, or in your own family, to honor everybody for who they are in the system. Now, if you, for example, your parents have twins and you have siblings, living siblings who are not your twins, the only opportunity you have with your physical parents growing up is a twin relationship with your mom or your dad, or a partnership place, but not a child place. So there's going to be a favorite in the family, favorites. There's going to be competitiveness. There's going to be envy, jealousy, or betrayal, the black sheep. Because it has to be that, because there's no place for a son or a daughter if the parents have twins. Not unless they've worked with their twins. That's how significant this work is really, really important. This work really helps children be the child. Because it messes family systems up. Really, really, it makes it very confusing, very manipulating. And favorites, you'll always hear about favorites. The reason it's so strong, this favorites, is because of the genetics are not in place. And many, many topics are related to this. So it's almost like your whole life's topics can be related to this. I remember even when I was a kid, I used to go to my grandmother's place, and my mother would go into the city and I'd be left at the house with my brother. And I remember there was a front room and the back room, and the front room was for the guests. I was always left in the front room because my grandmother says, he's my favorite. My brother's my favorite. You're my favorite. But she was really saying, he's my twin. He's my twin. And I felt no connection with her, actually, because they had a twin connection. It was so strong, the two of them. So, but for me, that felt like huge. I felt no connection with them whatsoever. Now, I understand that now, but can you imagine how I felt as a child? That is how strong it is. It's very confusing information, saying, why is all this love going to this person? Why is that bond there? And there's nothing for me. There's no connection with me. So this is how devastating it can be for a child to feel this. Now, if you've got children, you can correct the system very easily. So the first thing is to check, do your parents have twins? And if you correct that, the energy will start running through your system. And then you honor your own children, and then check to see if your own children have twins. And if your own children have twins, then honor your other daughter or son, older or younger, do exactly the same thing. You will get answers. It's okay if your child doesn't know or is too young to speak about this. I've worked with young children, actually, and the moms would say, oh, you have another sister. And the sister would say, yeah, I always wanted this sister. Also, another sign would be, a lot of the time, moms will dress the daughters up like a boy, or the boys like a girl, because there's a girl in the system or there's a boy in the system. It's confusing. So, and then the girl will start behaving like a boy to get the love from mom and dad, because he or she feels that. So it's very, very confusing. But when you do this genetic work, it's really, really easy. Now, when you correct it, how to correct it with your children, you'd say, oh my God, I spent the whole life in the twin place with my kids. I don't feel good about that. So what can I do about that? You can change it right here, right now. Now, there's a level where on a soul level, we chose these experiences. So that's on a soul level. On a soul level, everybody chose these experiences, and they're useful experiences because it gives us very rich information of a soul level that we need. Then there's a point where the soul says, okay, it's enough. Okay, this is the point right here, right now. It's enough. I don't need this anymore, and I can change it. So if you have got, if you have not been in the mother or father place with your own living children, what you can do is, how to correct it is, first look at your system, look at your parent system, correct that, then look at your children's system, see if there's twins in the family and with your children. If you find you have twins, make sure that you honor them in the right places, and they will start correcting the system because you're in the correct place. They will get that information too. And then the information is in the correct way, that you are the father or the mother of your children now. They will feel that shift. And then what you need to do from this moment on, only one thing: be a mom, be a dad, nothing else. Behave like a mom. They will feel the difference. The system will correct itself. And nothing else. Don't be a therapist. Don't be anything else. Be the mom. Bake a cake for them. Cook breakfast. Make breakfast for them. Be the mom. And they will get the full transmissions their soul needs. Give them a hug as a mom. They will get it. They will get that frequency, and it will correct the system. Now, if you look into your partner's system as well, so if you've got a partner, if you have children, then look at your partner's system, because you're in your partner's system, like it or not, you're in the partner's system as well. So has your partner got a twin? Yes or no? Older or younger? Brother or sister? Do the same thing. Then honor that your partner's your partner, and you're not in competition with your partner's twin. This is really important, because your partner's twin will be really nasty to you and maybe wants to break up the relationship, or is dumping a lot of stuff on you because you've gone in the twin place. So This is really important to correct if you're in a relationship, to make sure you're in a relationship place, but not a twin place. Because most twin survivors are in relationships as a twin, not a partner. And then it's very confusing. Also, you may stay long in a relationship which is complete because it's a twin system. Or else, if there's a separation, it's devastating. You often hear of these legal battles. The law system makes a lot of money from this because the divorce gets very messy, nasty, vindictive, never ends, because it's twins. You can't separate from a twin. You can't leave a twin, but you can leave a partner. Also, a lot of people I've worked with as well have never had a relationship, or say I'm waiting for the one, or my soulmate. I will translate that back to saying you're looking for your twin. Yes, there is soulmates, but there's a lot of people confusing soulmates with twins. There's a lot of people using excuses, I'm waiting for the one, because their system is so wounded from the womb that they will not open their system for a relationship because they can't handle that level of devastation ever again. So I'm closed. And people can be closed for their whole life, never entering a deep relationship because they have such devastation and grief in their system that it's too much for their system to handle, to have a deep relationship. So they'll be alone, or they'll be in not very deep relationships, or else jumping in and out of relationships, or could be jumping in very intense, very fast, because that's, you know how to get in very fast, and then jumping out, closing up the system. So there's a lot of, and also a lot of codependency. I'm talking a lot here to give you a lot of different keys to make things super aware of what's going on in your life or in systems. And also you can share those keys then with the one you're supporting, because it's very useful if there's someone you're working with who has never heard this. When you start talking about the symptoms where it could affect you, that is enough for the soul to get over the mind and say, oh, that sounds very like me. I don't know anything about the twin, but everything you're saying is me. So this is very helpful information to share with somebody. Greed, for example, loneliness. I don't belong here. I want to leave. This is usually the twin, the survivor twin, because you don't belong here, which is absolutely right, because you're in the twin's system information, so you don't belong in that system. I'm more connected up there than I'm down here. That is correct, because you're on top of your twin system. You can't ground. It's impossible. If you do, you're pushing your twin out of the system. Maybe you do it with very strong meditations, but as soon as you're out of it, the twin system will pop up in the system. What else? Yes, so with grief, a lot of people will have a lot of grief which blocks the heart and blocks love. So it's important just to allow the person to say, okay, now I realize where that heavy grief is in my life, and I realize it belongs to the womb. So I set the intention that unresolved grief goes back to the womb, and it starts flowing out of the system, plus the sadness, plus the loneliness. So it's like if you go back in your life and say, aha, that's why I felt so heavy with grief and burdened with grief. And just giving a few moments, breathing in, and it resolves. Also the lungs clear, because grief blocks the lungs. The lungs, usually people with twin survivors have bronchitis, asthma, pneumonia, tendencies for poisoning, food poisoning, or injection poisoning, because the lungs is about life, about living my life, my space, my qualities. So there's no space, decay, mold, black mold. So all this grief is leaving, deadness is leaving, or left. And also that, thank you for sharing that. So people can be very, very good in their lives, and then they become pregnant, and then it opens the system. I spoke about this yesterday. So there may be a moment in the life where they become very ill, or their life becomes, it just falls apart. And that could be the loss of a child. I know I worked with somebody in the States, and this person was super successful and had a very thriving business, and there was a miscarriage, and the miscarriage, the business was collapsing, everything was collapsing in this lady's life, because what opened up was the wound from the womb of the twin, the loss of a twin, which was confused with the miscarriage. Or with the miscarriage. Now, a lot of people also projected onto termination on abortion. Now, normally with abortion, you turn away anyway energetically. But if you confuse the heaviness of the abortion, the heaviness of the womb with the abortion, it's very hard to resolve that. And you will have that in your system, and you'll confuse this heavy guilt of losing a child or having a termination. The main heaviness belongs to the womb from the twin. Now, when I talk about miscarriage and abortion, that also goes for what you create, because everything is your child, everything. So every business you create, every concept you create is your child. So you will start a project and then you'll leave a project. This is the information of the twin survivor. It's an open system. So it's not a closed system. So the person will have a hole, like an opening in the aura, and because they had a twin in their aura in the womb, and that stays there. So in life, you walk into a room and your system's open, so you're very empathic. You feel everyone's system. You feel what it's like to be in other people's shoes, and that affects you. So you need to run off to the cave to get away from everyone because it's too much for you. Now, this is also about creation. This is the wheel of life. So you'll start a project and you will lose the energy of it. You'll lose the fruits of it. You'll start and work very hard, but you will not get the fruits of that project because it's not a full circle. It's not the wheel of life. So it's very important to close the system, and to open up the aura again, all the auras, all the subtle bodies. And then that gives the full fruits of life. This picture, I feel, is very helpful for people. They get it, they understand it. Even if people don't know about twins and you talk about this opening in the aura, the soul gets it and they can relate to that. And it makes sense for them because they're attracting this system information. So this aura opening will be corrected when you work with the aspects as well, when you come out and keep this intention of creation and the full cycle of life. I did it in the other Vanishing Twin webinars as well. Just let me feel you, just breathing into your hearts. Yeah, I can feel the information. It's a lot of information. So I'm just gonna let this settle. Just give me some space. It's going to keep working in your systems. Opening up your blueprint of creation within you. Honoring your twins in their place and closing the system in you. It's a full system in you, full system for your twins too. Their full lives, your full life. Giving space, you and your genetics with your parents, your siblings. Siblings are beside you. Now, your living siblings are not the twins, okay? So it's very important because you would have taken them in the twin place. So really honor that your living twins are not your twins. And you will have a different relationship with them to what you have with a twin, because a twin is a very close relationship. It's not like any other relationship. That's why it's so heavy to lose a twin. That's why there's so much resistance. So I'd like to honor your siblings. If you have siblings, they're different to your twins, and you're in a closed system with your twins, and then the systems of your living siblings, if they don't have twins, they're in their whole system. If they do have twins, that's another twin system. And the only connection with you and your siblings is direct with each one of them, even direct with their twins. And your siblings, living siblings, have direct access to your twins without having to go through you to get to them. And you have direct connection with them as brothers and sisters now. So I just want to recap a little bit. So we worked with the twins. If your mom and dad have twins, we looked back, mom on the left-hand side behind you. Oh, mom's always on the left behind. And you check to see if his mom has got a twin. And then you ask, has she got an older or younger twin, brother or sister? If she's a younger twin, it means that mom is in the younger place. And you invite mom, say, okay, mom, I honor you're the older one. And I honor you, a younger one, a younger sister. And then you're my aunt. Younger sister's my aunt. Then your mom. And then the genetics open. And then you do the same with dad, checking dad's system, see if he's a brother or a sister. And then you honor the older uncle or younger aunt. And then direct connection with dad. And close that system as a twin system, honoring them as a closed system, honoring your mom's twins as a closed system, which has nothing to do with your twins. Then you're with your twins. And you are in your own system. So it's first your aura, it's your system. But then there is a system, especially for your twin or twins. And then there's another system, which is only the twin system for you and your twins. So they're different systems. So I'll just draw myself, okay. So I will have, what I mean is this. So I would be there, okay? And then my sister would be there, my brother would be there, okay? But I have a whole system, so there's no opening in my aura. My sister has a whole system, no opening in our aura anymore. So she has her own life. She's in her own channel, her own blueprint. I'm in my own channel, my own blueprint. Then my brother, closed system. I want to close that. Closed system. Okay, so my brother has a closed system. He's in his own aura, his own channel, his own life, his own connection with mom and dad. So this looks a bit strange. Oh, so I have direct connection with my mom. I have direct connection with my dad. My brother has direct connection with mom, which has nothing to do with me. My brother has direct connection with my dad. Oh, sorry, mom, yeah. And my sister has direct connection with dad, direct connection with mom, which has nothing to do with me. Okay, so that's me and my twin system, which I've closed. Okay, that's a unique connection I have with my twins, my siblings. Now, my other siblings are outside the system. So my other siblings will be outside, and if they don't have twins, they're on their own. And I will have direct connection with my siblings. And they will have direct connection with mom, with dad and mum. They will have direct connection with the twins, which has nothing to do with me. Okay? That's what I mean by a closed system. Now, if mom and dad have twins, they also have their closed system with the twins, which has nothing to do with you. The only connection you have with mom or dad is dad. Your relationship with their twin is aunt or uncle. Okay? Is that okay? So, and then if you have children, okay, the children are in front. So your children will be here. And if you are the dad, you have direct connection with your child as the child. And then your child will have direct connection with mom. Okay? So, and then if your child has a twin, the child will also have a twin system, which has nothing to do with your system. Your connection will be only as dad or mom, not the twin, okay? Because what happens is you pull your child into the twin place if you haven't worked with your twins. That's what generally happens with the genetics. And then the genetic lines are confused. The DNA is confused. Is that clear? This is really important. It's really important. These parts are really important. And you can work with your children. You can work with your parents. What I mean by that is you, because they're in your system, you're in their system, because you're all interconnected. You're honoring the truth, okay? So I haven't told my dad that he has a twin, all right? But if I sense he has a twin, because I'm his son, and I'm in the genetics, I can honor him as the middle one, for example, and having an older brother, if he has an older brother, or younger sister. So I can say, well, I have direct connection with my auntie. I have direct connection with my uncle. I have direct connection with my father. So then it's clear. Okay, so without my dad doing the work, it's clear. If your partner has a twin, you can also work with that because you're in the system with your partner. Once you're being intimate with somebody for a period of time, you enter their system information, and you're in the ancestors of them, and their ancestors are in you, and you're in their ancestors. So you can honor that your partner has a twin, even if your partner doesn't know it. And you can say, okay, you have an older twin, a brother or a sister. And that's a closed system. And I don't want any connection there. The only connection is that's the brother-in-law or sister-in-law. But that's the only connection I have. But in my intimate private relationship, the only one I'm connected to is my partner. I don't want to drag my partner's twins into the relationship. It's nothing to do with me. So when you work with someone who has a twin relationship at the end of the session, it's very important to re-invite them to become conscious and say, okay, you're in a twin relationship. That's different. So now you can invite into the place. Now, men are usually on the right, women on the left side in relationships. I'm only talking about relationships, okay? Same sex will find their place. That's cool. But feminine, masculine, feminine's on the left, masculine's on the right. So if it's feminine, so you'll say, okay, for the first, and this is really good news, if you had twin relationships, it means that all these relationship topics you had was never a relationship. It was twin. So you actually haven't got relationship topics because you never were in a relationship. You're in a twin relationship. So as far as a relationship is concerned, romantic relationship, you haven't experienced that yet in this life system. So now you can open up a fresh new relationship place, which is your divine connection as a creator, and attract the one for you. Because now you have a brand new relationship seat that you never opened before. It's brand new. It's never been there before. So now you can invite your partner into it as a partner, or your future partner in as a partner, because now it's a relationship seat for the first time in your life, this life system. So then you'll invite your partner in as a partner, not twin. And then the dynamics of the relationship will change. Also, what you'll find is that a lot of people will be together, but they won't get married, or the ring goes missing, or things happen. The reason is because you can't marry a twin, but you can marry a partner. So even if you do get married, you'll feel like something's not sitting right here. Something doesn't feel right here. So the marriage place can be opened up now, because now there can be unity, there can be marriage in the system. So, as I say, you can open up a fresh relationship seat. Even if someone's in a marriage, you can make them conscious, say, okay, do you want to invite your partner in as a partner now? Or you can relive the vows again if you want. But it's a new type of marriage. It's a real marriage now. And also parent system. So that was really, that was good. I can feel it. It was really very important, very good. I'm just looking at this. Well, we worked with the laws, the 12 laws of the universe yesterday. That was very, very strong. I could feel it working today in my system. And these did really, really good. Taking a deep breath in, giving some space, honoring your genetic place. I feel the clarities in the system. Do you see the way the information is important? It's important to speak it out. And that is the unfortunate part about twin survivors, that you're after doing the session and then you're like almost alone at home and saying, am I crazy? Is this real? I've nobody to talk to about it. So I love that you can be there to support each other, in the group, the teacher group, and you can really talk about it with someone who doesn't think you're crazy, and it really helps. It helps to speak it out. I find finding somebody to speak it out really, really helps, because it just brings everything to the point. Things are to the point then. So so it's really good to have that support group there. I love that. I'm going to work more later in the next break. This was really, really good. And beautiful. So we're going to take an hour break. And we will start back then. And I want to honor everything you did. Everything you did. And this is another topic a twin survivor has. It's never enough, because you're never in the moment. That's the topic of the Vanishing Twin. It's never enough. Breathing in. Beautiful. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you, everyone, and I'll see you in 1 hour. Okay, I know the time change, whatever an hour is in your country from now. So I'll see you in an hour. Thank you. That was amazing. Very, very good. I feel you've really got a lot of keys.